everyone. Welcome to Weekend Rental. This is episode 110. I am your host, Ryan. As always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And no Biff today, but we are your gaming and geek culture podcast. If you enjoy our content, please head over to geekade.com where you can find podcasts and content on video games, movies, music, and much, much more. Geekade.com, what's your geek? Man, I feel like a recording schedule is aligned very oddly this go around because like the last 2 weeks, things happened almost immediately after we recorded.
Yeah.
Some major news. We're late to the game. Lots of things like that Nintendo Direct. Did you watch that one the day after we recorded?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, it has been a while since that's happened, so it's old news now, but
That's true.
I mean, that movie stuff, right? That was...
The movie stuff. I know people are really going off on like the Chris Pratt thing, which I agree is like it's a weird choice. But I'm more upset that there's like Kongs in the Mario movie universe and that like 3 of them have been announced as cast. Because like when I think Mario movie, I don't like Donkey Kong had not popped into my head at all. You know?
Yeah, it's weird because they're obviously going way back. I mean, they have Spike in there too, which isn't that like Wrecking Crew or something?
Yeah, maybe.
So like they're going way back to like the very beginning, it seems like.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess I didn't take as much offense as the rest of the planet to, the fact that they weren't Italian actors being cast. I think Charlie Day as Luigi is probably pretty spot on. I've loved all the like Sunny in Philadelphia reskins that they've done since then. That's been great. But yeah, it was sort of weird being like, well, we have Charles Martinet, right? Like we have the guy who has been the voice of Mario ever since he's gotten a voice, and we're not using him. I'm not sure on that.
Yeah. It's got to, I don't know. You got to make a choice at some point. You can't have him just go wahoo.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So I don't know what a long form dialogue voice of Martinet's Mario is, but
yeah, that's fair. I guess it was exciting to hear them like kind of acknowledge that the movie's still happening. I mean, obviously that had kind of, with the parks being delayed, the movie not really being talked about. I don't know. I'm still excited. Like Mario movie, great. Like if they can make a good one, regardless of how I think the voice sounds, I don't know that I care. Chris Pratt, I still think is a weird. I will say, was it Jack Black as Bowser? Like that's pretty much perfect casting. Like that spot on. He's gonna do great in that, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice to see a trailer. It's weird that they just came out and were like, "Here's the voice cast." But
yeah, well, and like, who goes to be Toad?
Right?
Like,
Nobody. Like they were trying out for somebody else.
Congrats, you are the voice of Toad. You're the most annoying voice that we could find.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
if you want to follow me down this,
okay.
Chris Pratt is originally from northern Minnesota.
Sure.
And he put out a video saying that he used to play Mario Brothers arcade in whatever, and how much he loved Mario Brothers.
I heard this, and I think he's full of shit.
Okay.
But continue.
Okay, well, the Mario Brothers cabinet that's right behind me came from the same area that he grew up in. So
you need to get this authenticated by Chris Pratt or a Chris Pratt historian.
Right. Is this the Mario arcade that you were playing as a kid?
See, I had this wild idea that he was playing like a Versus cabinet or that like super rare like Super Mario World cabinet for a while, but
I just think people are, it's just
you might be onto something. Man, you need to scrape that for some Chris Pratt DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Inside and out, coin slots, all of that. Where do I get
an acrylic case for this thing?
Send it to WADA. They'll figure it out. They'll charge you $4,000, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah. So that's my household. That's like the museum piece now. This is Chris Pratt's Mario machine.
Nice.
Whether it's true or not. Just
don't let anyone in your household watch that last movie of his that went right to Prime, and it won't tarnish it at all. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I guess it never occurred to me that it could be the original Mario Brothers. I just thought he was like full of shit and was like, it was some like confused story or something he was saying for promo, but yeah, it's true.
I think that just a normal person just like, oh, it's Mario. It's, probably the most common thing,
Yeah.
Just like, they're just Nintendo tapes still.
Good old Nintendo tapes. So out of that direct, like I don't know, like I didn't take much out of that other than there's literally nothing coming to the Switch. I mean, there's an expansion for the Monster Hunter, which will be big, but that's not until next year. What did you think about finally seeing Bayonetta 3?
That looked pretty cool. Like the whole Godzilla of hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
It's cool, but like that's not why I go to Bayonetta, right? Like I'm not there for monster fights. I'm there for like weird stylized over the top attacks. And it seemed like all they focused on was the fact that you weren't actually controlling Bayonetta herself.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. Like if she was just in the background and you're controlling the monster, that would be my assumption.
Right.
But yeah, it kind of seemed like it slowed down compared to what Bayonetta action game is.
Yeah, and slapping that with the 2022 date and then not showing anything for Breath of the Wild 2 leads me to believe that that's not till 2023, which means that this might go Breath of the Wild and like be day and date for the next version of their console and also backwards compatible on the Switch. I don't know if I don't feel like that's a hot take. I feel like that's very possible at this point.
Yeah. At least if it's like a Switch Pro, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I think my main excitement was like a fully 3D Kirby. Like, that looked good.
Yeah. That's got to be the first time, right? Like, I can't think of another game that was...
Yeah, outside of like portions of Air Ride, I don't think you've ever been able to just like fully roam around in like a pseudo open 3D environment.
Sure.
And look crisp.
I think if you're like really trying to do it well, it might be hard with Kirby, in 3D. But they make those games so easy to be in with that probably doesn't matter,
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering, like, do you think they're borrowing, like, the Odyssey engine and, like, kind of building off of that?
Yeah, I mean, some of the worlds look like they don't belong in a Kirby world, so maybe he's just...
Yeah, like, seeing that escalator section and, like, that, like, interior mall sort of thing, I was like, oh, this is definitely different.
I don't know what happened to Nintendo, like, between that and Smash Brothers, they think, like, Kirby is, like, the apocalypse.
Oh yeah,
he wanders the wasteland.
100%. Every time it's like, oh, this console's about to be done. We need a Kirby game.
Yep.
That's why I always buy like every Kirby game because it's like, oh, this is going to shoot up in value, guaranteed.
Yeah.
That one I got genuinely excited about. My son did. Like, obviously Kirby is kid centric, but they're still enjoyable. My son was like, that looks really good. It's like, that genuinely does. So yeah. There was a ton of, like, I figured you'd be excited. There was, like, a lot of tactics and RPG stuff in there from, like, smaller devs that just never crossed my radar.
Yeah. If I had the time, I would probably be into those, but I've forfeited at this point.
Yeah. Who is that kind of time? I'm with you. I wasn't overly excited about that direct. they left some stuff hanging like, oh, there's more news, Smash is coming October 5th. We're going to talk about that. And well, it's October 6th today as we record. So I guess the world can breathe a collective sigh of disappointment, possibly glee. I don't know. I didn't care about another sword fighter. I know it's a key. Everyone can tell me it's a key and he's not a sword fighter, but he's like the 20th sword fighter that's been added to Smash. That's Sora, of course, from Kingdom Hearts. I can't imagine the legal and logistical loopholes that Nintendo had to jump through to get a Disney and Square property greenlit for a game that is published by Nintendo. But hats off, because I'm sure that sucked.
Yeah. From what I can tell, I think only the little like Mickey Mouse keychain thing that's on his key is like the only Disney reference in the whole thing.
Okay.
Which is kind of the biggest bummer about it, because anything that I like in Kingdom Hearts, it has to do with the Disney and the Final Fantasy stuff, not all
this guy.
of the other created bullshit that they have.
Yeah.
So having just that in there, you know, if his special moves were summoning Disney characters, that'd be cool, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, if he was like hucking Donald Duck in your face for something, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I guess it was the most requested fan request over the years, so they made
It's the right
good
decision.
on that, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's like, I've really truly felt with the expansion sets, and there's been some deep cuts, some that I really applaud, but I really felt like they missed the boat on what the original and maybe Melee up through Melee cast of characters meant within the context of a Smash game. You know what I mean? It was like, it was always paying homage to like the roots of gaming, and like, you know, they just kind of got away from that. Like, I understand the importance of Minecraft Steve. I understand the importance of Sora. But I don't know. It just doesn't carry the same weight as like Duck Hunt Dog. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
and I admit I'm an old fart, so you got to connect with like the newer audience, but
I think that came with the download stuff though.
yeah.
So like when you're trying to sell downloadable content, obviously Sora is going to get it more than
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
some, you know, like
100%.
Spike from Wrecking Crew, you know, whatever. But yeah, I agree. I wish they, you know, keep mining the old Nintendo thing and keep it contained. But because once you open the door, then nobody's happy because, oh, Master Chief's not in it. And, you know,
right. Well, and this is, you know, that's the thing is like, this is a collaboration and licensing deal to such an extent, the likes of which, at least in this incarnation, I don't think could ever exist again. Even if there's a Smash Brothers Ultra Deluxe Plus edition on whatever console in the future, God, I just don't think they can get them all back. Like, I don't, you know, things happen in the gaming world. You know, companies are bought and sold. Like, this is probably, you know, look at Tony Hawk, the remaster. They didn't get the original soundtrack back. They couldn't. And that, you know, so it's impressive. It's, especially when they showed those stats at the end, they're like, we paid tribute and incorporated 450 games. Like, that's amazing. You know, we brought in over 1,100 songs. Incredible.
yeah.
So even though like I'm disappointed in this final announcement, and I've been disappointed in a lot of, I guess, these DLC characters, like, it's still such an unprecedented like tribute to our hobby that it's hard to be really upset about it, even if a good chunk of it hasn't been for me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, a lot of people probably didn't realize that when it was like, this is the end, or this is the last thing. It's kind of, it might be the end of Smash Brothers, because like, I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you, like you said, you could probably port it or something in the next thing, but then you're gonna lose some characters. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought it was crazy that they got like Snake and Sonic to even come to the next versions. You know what I mean? It was just,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's regardless of whether you like the gameplay or not, if you are a gaming historian and enthusiast, especially if you are a Nintendo fan from the 80s, 90s, and onward, it's just a great love letter of a game to everything you appreciated and that nostalgia button growing up. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that literally this game has been in the works for what, 6-7 years? I don't know when the original Wii U release came out, but clearly they went right to work on getting it ready for the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, they claim it's different, but it's a port for the most part. Like,
it's a refined version, and thank God they did it. You know, like you could make that argument all you want about like cash grabs, but they really got it into the audience that should have been able to appreciate it, that couldn't on the Wii U, and they made it into something completely next level. So, yeah.
Leave the poor guy alone now.
Yeah,
let him go make something else.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll do. I mean, I hate to say there will never be another Smash, but like, I wonder if they'll convince him to come back in like 10 years. Like, you know, guy's like completely gray and like withered and like can't do it, but. Yeah, he's been working on Smash since like, I don't know when the one come out on 64, like 99, 98.
Yeah, I don't remember if he was the one that company was the one in that one. I feel like Melee maybe was really when he got on that.
Yeah, even so, like, I mean, Melee was, yeah, I love Melee. Like Melee and Ultimate, between those two, like those games are like near perfection. I almost gravitate more towards Melee because like, I don't know. It learned when to refrain, and Ultimate is just like, you know what I mean? It's like watching a metal band. Like the third, like 3-minute guitar solo is not as great as like the one really good one you had.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
especially like stages on random, it's just like, where are we right now?
My kids get so pissed because they want to pick stages, and I was like, no, we're not picking stages. It's always random. There's too many of these damn things.
Yep.
So, yeah. Speaking of that, there's I didn't have it on my topics list, but that Smash like Nicktoon Brawl thing is getting a lot of headlines and press. But I think it's weird because it dropped technically yesterday from what I'm seeing, yet there's not a single official review on it. So does that mean that they didn't have enough confidence in it to ship it out to anybody to review ahead of time, I'm thinking?
Yeah, that could be. Or there's like an embargo past launch, which would be
but why would you do that? Like, it's already out.
Yeah.
If the general public can review it, then...
Yeah, I would think that then it's up, yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, it's probably not all it's cracked up to be. But does that just mean it's not, you know, AAA level, but still great? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's still potential for it to be a lot of fun. But it's very telling that IGN, at the very least, hasn't gotten a review up, so...
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I didn't know it was out yet. That's crazy.
I looked it up because like I kept seeing like preview videos and like stuff. So I was like, well, when the hell does this thing drop? And it said it released on the 5th, and maybe that was wrong, but I don't know. A Thursday, or was that a Wednesday? Wednesday release, Tuesday release would have been weird. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's that could be good, but I don't know. Like the developer of that was like the same guys that churn out all the other garbage, you know, so
right.
You never know.
It's probably a disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, we got to go back to the Nintendo Online stuff.
Oh, yes. Thank you. We missed this.
Who in their right mind is going to pay more just for 64 games and Sega Genesis games that you can buy in a collection for $5?
And let me say, that Genesis collection is a finely curated masterpiece of a collection. Like Musha.
Yeah.
You know, your Streets are like, they're all great. They're all bangers. But as soon as they said, we're revamping the online service with new tiers, I just screamed. I screamed at my TV, what the fuck for? I'm throwing you $30 a year for a family plan. I don't have voice chat without your stupid fucking phone attachment. Like, what are you offering us?
Yeah. It's that, yeah. Like the Genesis stuff just seems like, why? Like who's, that stuff has been kicked around everywhere for forever.
Yes.
And I don't know, 64 games to pay more just for 64 games.
And granted, they were the heavy hitters, but
how much is it per month? If it's,
right.
Is it $2 per month? Maybe.
I mean, are we talking a $10 increase per year? I could stomach that, but are we talking like what the only way that wouldn't have been a slap in the face is if they said, and we're having native party chat without this cockamamie app thing.
Yeah.
And guess what? The Bluetooth thing that we just kept locked behind whatever is also coming too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think they just unlock that now. Yeah.
But if they were smart, they would have been like, coming with new Switch Online.
Yeah.
Instead of the slap in the face of, yeah, you could have always Bluetooth paired anything. We just now, 3 years later, decided you can do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Oh, and then the thing that like really just made me want to punch my TV screen was, and to Switch Online members, buy a Bluetooth controller. You can get the 64 controller, which is the worst. My son looked at me. He's like, why would you buy that? That's the worst controller ever. And I was like, good job, son. I trained you well. Or the Genesis 3-button controller, which is only available in the US because everybody else is getting the 6-button controller because we're assholes apparently. But both of these things cost $50 a piece, which, what?
Yeah.
What?
That's insane.
That's $30 at most.
And just, there was a part of me inside that died when I saw a Genesis controller box that
with the Nintendo branding.
Yes, I just it felt really bad.
It's funny because like that hadn't even dawned on me until like a week later when I heard somebody say the same thing, and I was like, oh yeah, it was a little unsettling, wasn't it? I was more disturbed by the fact that they were trying to like nickel and dime the shit out of me, but that is weird. When Nintendo is selling your console war controller to you, it's just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, they've won, and then they're just like kicking you in the face with it.
Yeah, and that's coming. They didn't say a date. October, right? Sometime in October, we're gonna find out. But like, oh man, like, what do they think they're gonna get out of that?
Well, who hasn't been paying attention? Like, yeah, okay, you got a lot of good 64 games off the bat, but we know the track record with the other systems, And
what does that say about the 3D All-Stars collection? Because, like, Mario 64 is now in the online service, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what was the point of the collection?
Yeah, that's true. Well, when they, it'll really be bad once they have 5 tiers, and some of them will be Wii games on the service.
It's exciting and also disappointing to see the fact that they're like, we're bringing in other consoles finally, but like we're stopping with just Genesis. It's like, well, there's the rumor of Game Boy. Like, where's the TurboGrafx stuff? Bring that back. Like, Konami's got to be desperate for cash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Like, if you turn that original Wii Virtual Console and that was what I'm paying for, that would be great. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff that was on there, I would happily pay a pretty high amount for that stuff. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that because that was such a mind trip to see that.
So, it's a good thing we're not big Twitch stars right now.
Why is that?
Apparently the entire website, along with a lot of payout information, was uploaded to the internet last night.
Oh.
And pretty much everybody that was on there, seems like they know how much money they make.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And so the discourse today was been, holy shit, some of these people make a lot of money.
Well, no shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ninja.
Yeah. And when the real problem is, hey, the entire source code of Twitch is up there. So you should probably change your passwords and all that stuff because...
Well, that's great. Like, so if you're paying Twitch people, is your info hacked then too?
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I'm guessing a lot of websites now, your payment stuff is like
Blocked.
tokenized and all that other junk. So it's tough to get into that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty insane for a website's entire source code. That's not a good deal.
No, you'd think you'd keep that like under wraps for sure.
I'm guessing it was a disgruntled employee, but usually you'd probably be able to figure that out pretty quick who it was. But
so, are there any like eye-opening things, like how much this guy makes, or
I haven't looked at exact details, but yeah, a lot of people have been like, some people claiming that they don't make as much as they do, and yeah, it's been a crazy day so far, and
between that and like the Facebook being down.
Yeah.
Like, although that didn't affect me, somebody made a joke at work about Facebook being down. Like, what am I going to do? And I thought it was just like a dumb office joke. When I found out like 8 hours later, like, oh no, it'd been down all day. And I was like, I didn't even know. Didn't care. So. But then when it did come back online, here's a weird thing. So like, I use Facebook. I get into Facebook late, right? And like, I only use it as like a connections through like internet contacts and friends. Like nobody I actually knew or grew up with, because like it's just a thing I use for like marketing and shell account. When it came back online, the first recommendation that it posted was like, people not friends with anybody I know. It was my ex.
You're
front
kidding
and
me.
center. It was like Zuckerberg just like giving me the middle finger. I was like, nope, done with Facebook forever now. Like,
how the shit did they know that?
I have no idea, but I was like, nope, done with this shit.
Yep.
Yeah. It was no like friends with this person. It was just like person you might know. Didn't like it.
You might have known her. But...
Yeah. Well, I did. Yeah. Luckily, there's this like block feature, which I used. So that seems to be okay. So,
yeah.
I can still keep my marketplace access, I guess.
I recently had that as well on Facebook. It was like an actual friend recommendation into like my notifications. And it's like, no, I don't think I want to be friends with my ex from 10 and a half years ago, whatever. Right.
It's like, hey, thanks for the photo of her, the guy she cheated on me with, and there's 6 kids, but I'm going to go and cry myself to sleep now. Thanks, Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuckers.
That's awful.
Yeah. First world problems, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you make fun of him all day long. He's going to be...
Which, speaking of Facebook, I bet they're loving the fact that got leaked, because like Twitch is like taking business from them. So it's like, oh, we have their source code now. Like, how easy is it to just do what Twitch is doing once you have everything you need?
Yeah.
So, and they have the money to throw at it.
Mm-hmm. Apparently they were making a storefront too for games. Really? Yeah. Like they were halfway through it, or they abandoned it, one of the two, but it was there.
Okay. So to like purchase games you're watching the person playing?
Yep.
Interesting. You'd think it'd almost be easier to like do Epic Games integration.
Yeah.
Like if Twitch was smart, well, but it's, I suppose, is Twitch owned by
Amazon,
and they've got their own gaming thing. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. So it must have been like a Prime integration sort of deal.
Yeah, that would be my guess, that they were going to start doing that. But
yeah, I mean, they already give away like free games every month, right? With Prime. So yeah. Makes sense.
I could also see them being like, oh shit, Steam, Epic, how many game stores can there be before the market share just doesn't support it? So,
right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like realistically, I mean, I know there's Epic and there's Steam and there's Prime, but like there's still just Steam, right? Like everybody has an Epic account. I go on there and I've got hundreds of games, which I collect every week for free. I've spent a total of like $16 in their store ever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're really making waves as much as, I mean, they are, but they're not making money by any means, and they've admitted that. So,
oh yeah, they're just trying to get users, you know.
Yeah,
It's
well, what will all those poor hot tub girls do now that their income is leaked?
well, their stream key could potentially have been leaked too, you know. So any person could just like stream to their channel.
There's a whole black market now.
Yep.
Yeah. Discount subscriptions to your favorite channel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Don't put all your shit in one spot, apparently.
Yeah. Learn from Sega. Lose your source code. That's the way to succeed.
Yeah. Once you're done with the game, just throw it away once you're done. Yeah.
RPG of a generation. Source code gone. It's fine.
Yep. But, you know, it's funny that the Facebook thing too, where they were basically couldn't get into any of their own shit because it all ran on their own network too. So
yeah, well, and that was like another exact reason why I was like, this is why I haven't bought an Oculus Rift, like the Oculus like 2 or whatever like that, you know. And it's like, I didn't want to buy it because of the Facebook integration. And like, prime example, like if you had one of those and you were gaming at that time, you were SOL for 5 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's tied to your goddamn login for some stupid reason. And
yeah.
Or the Quest 2 is what I'm thinking of, not the Rift. Oculus Quest 2. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's like the world is very upset about that. And like in my old man technology deficient age, I just was like, I had no idea that was down, but cool.
That's clean life you got there,
I guess. Or a sad one. I need to be tethered to the internet at all times. I need to stick a Ethernet cord up my ass so I'm never disconnected from the world. Speaking of that, pro segue there. Do you see that teardown of the OLED Switch dock?
No.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but somebody online did a teardown, and apparently it seems like the OLED dock may be future-proofed. Whether that means that the OLED didn't reach its potential or they're gearing up for something in the near future, it looks to be that the dock for the OLED is HDMI 2.0 ready, which would make it 4K compatible. And it's got the chips on there to process a 4K signal. There is no upscaling, though. But the accompanying HDMI cable is also the 2.0 and 4K ready, which the original Switch dock, on both of those aspects, it did not have that.
Oh.
So they said, based on the teardown, that there would be no upscaling from 1080 to 4K. It would require a device that had a upscaler built into it, you know, in the hardware, which the OLED does not. But, you know, you could patch things in, or more realistically, we're probably looking at an upcoming Switch revision that can do 4K.
Yeah. I mean, if COVID never hit, it had to have been, you know, a 4K system,
the plan, right? Yeah.
Like it had to have. This couldn't have been the plan all along that they were just going to upgrade a screen. That's
right. Yeah. Bigger kickstand and an OLED. That's the winner. Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. Like, that's one aspect I never really would have thought of as like important. So it's cool to hear that.
Yep.
Hopeful for something a little more powerful.
Yeah. I wonder at this point, do they just brand it as the next Switch or the next system, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's getting up there.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm still a big proponent of, like, I don't need the Switch necessarily. Like, can you just sell me your Android box that I hook up to my TV that does that, and then sell a light version of it? You know, I'm totally fine with one system, but two different form factors. Because, like, I don't undock my Switch.
Yeah.
Just give me two things that cost $200. One's not going to have a screen, which is fine because I've got a TV. I don't know.
I mean, they're most of the way there now, you know?
Yeah.
They're just not giving you the cheaper option on the way you want it.
They never do, goddammit, Nintendo.
Yeah. You want to play Win Back? It's $10 a month.
Yeah. So you've been playing anything on Game Pass?
Yeah. Seems like Square Enix is desperate for anybody to pay attention to their Avengers game. So
Square Enix made that?
Yeah.
I did not know that, legitimately.
Yeah. Well, it was like Eidos, or basically like the Deus Ex people, maybe the people that used to do that. Or no, it was Crystal Dynamics, the Tomb Raider people. And which is owned by Square Enix, but that game bombed pretty hard, and they kind of made it as a Destiny style live game service type game. So I think they need the people in there.
Okay.
And I guess Game Pass is probably their best option right now.
So it's like an open MMO brawler sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very much like Destiny. I've just been playing the campaign so far, but a lot of it is like the strikes, it seems like.
Okay.
And kind of like wandering around, finding different things on the map type of thing like Destiny has. And then also gear and all of the power rankings and all that stuff. And I could give a shit less about that. It just feels really weird in a superhero game.
Right. Because you're invincible. You're a superhero.
Right. So you're just gaining, you're upgrading your thing or whatever. So it's kind of like an RPG, but it doesn't feel like it because you're just getting it from random chests that you find that, you upgrade different things. And
wow.
I don't know.
Is it good though? Like, is the gameplay fun or?
So the campaign that I'm playing, it seems like it's fun, but that's mainly because of the story is interesting, I think.
Okay.
They do, each character feels different. If you're playing the Hulk compared to Iron Man, it's quite a bit different. So at least they got that right, where, I don't know, even if you play something like Ultimate Alliance, it feels like a lot of the characters are still the same, because you're still doing the same stuff. But, in here, Iron Man can fly and, whatever. So that stuff is cool. And yeah, the story so far has been really good. I don't think after the story, though, that like grinding up things and doing the strikes and doing the whole gear thing just doesn't seem like it would be fun. But
sure. But I mean, that was like, I remember the hype train behind that was pretty real, and like it just abruptly stopped. So I'm guessing this is like a big win for a lot of people, being it's just like thrown into Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So for a non-Marvel person, like, is it worth downloading and checking out, or would you say if you've played Destiny, you're good?
Yeah, I think Destiny does it better.
Okay.
Yeah. So far from what I can tell, all the stuff that you get is in a chest, or you get it from faction vendors, if you can believe that.
It doesn't sound familiar at all.
So that's like all that where the gear comes from, where it's like, I don't know, maybe I haven't come across it yet, but like,
is there a guy that hides up in trees once a month?
Spider-Man, probably. I don't know.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah. But like at least Destiny, the engrams, you can see, oh, this is going to be something good. At least you have that feeling. You shoot you finally kill something, it drops, you're like, oh shit, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And then you have that anticipation to go get it. This is just like, open this chest, and it's like, oh, that was cool. Maybe, I don't know. I'll just go into the menu and press the automatically upgrade everything button.
Jeez. They didn't quite figure out the reward loop, huh?
No, I don't know. It might just be me that I'm just not engaging with that system. Probably the way they want it, but
I haven't heard anybody talk about how it's been better than like adequate if you're a huge fan. So
yeah,
I don't know. So since we're in that universe, can you explain to me the story behind this latest trailer I've seen for this movie that's coming out in the Marvel universe? That's like they're not like Immortals or whatever, but like the trailer for like the new like superheroes I've never heard of, like Defenders of the Earth, or
yeah, is it called Immortals?
Is it maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't even seen that trailer yet.
Have you not? Okay.
No.
Yeah, it was like this weird thing where it was just like, we're here to defend and to protect against the blah, blah, blah. And it's like civilization and then a bunch of superheroes I've never met before.
Yeah. Well, they did that with Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody kind of knew what that was. And now it's kind of a thing everybody knows.
Yeah, that's true. Eternals, that's what it's called. Eternals.
Oh, Eternals, yeah.
Is there lore to that? Or is this like...
I mean, I know a little bit, but yeah, I don't know the whole deal with it. But...
Yeah, it seemed like it... I don't know, it almost... I'm not a comic guy. I'm not... I've liked what I've watched of Marvel, but it's not like... I'm not clamoring for any of it. Yeah. I think Guardians, like you said, is my favorite because it's just a casual, like... Yeah, it's just like a dumb, like... action comedy, right? Like it's like it's the equivalent of Men in Black for the Marvel universe. I feel like, but the Eternals was just like almost taking it back to like the golden era of comics, where it's like all these characters look kind of funny and their suits are kind of lame, and like I don't know if I want this. So I'm not sure. I didn't know if it was a big thing for Marvel people because like I was like, what is that now? Like I don't recognize anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think that, they've obviously reached a point on all the mainstays that everybody knows.
Right.
That they can't go farther. Even the people that play them are like, I know I'm done with this. So
yeah,
they kind of have to keep their money train rolling with something else somehow.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Speaking of money train, I actually played a video game from the last time I recorded, and I bought that WarioWare. I don't even know the subtitle for the Switch.
Oh, so you've played mini games?
Yeah, I played mini games. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this one. Like, I think it sold for like $50. I went to Walmart and bought it, and they've got like Walmart does that weird thing where it's like we're gonna take 10% or like whatever off the top, because it's a new game, so I got it for like $40. And it's definitely WarioWare. No shocker there. It's a bunch of mini games, and then they like try to do this like added level of complexity where the characters that you control all control slightly differently. So it changes the way and like adds to the, I guess, stress of trying to figure out a puzzle in like a short time frame. And I don't know how far I am into the campaign. I'm guessing I'm like 80% through. Unlocked most of the characters, and I would say like I get what they were going for with that, but it's just straight up an extra headache I didn't necessarily need. And some of the characters are just objectively bad, or not bad, maybe just like super hampered, right? So like all I find myself doing is, now that I've got most of the characters unlocked, is just always going for the same 3 to 4 that control the same ish. So like I kind of know how to approach a puzzle, and it's not bad. The game's not worse for it. They just didn't capitalize on that premise. Like it didn't add a layer of depth to me. So I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Like I'm enjoying it, but it's WarioWare, right? Like I blast through it, did that, saw that, figured it out, laughed a little. And now I'm probably going to put that thing down. And I haven't gotten to multiplayer at all. but I don't know, a little disappointed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do, right? Because if they just put out more games, then, I think a good chunk of people, that's exactly what they want.
Right.
But that doesn't seem like rewarding for Nintendo anyway, to be like, here's this thing again. We haven't, innovated on it at all, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's Nintendo, I guess, but.
Yeah, and the best bits, at least for me, have always been that like part where they're like, haha, they did that thing from that game I played when I was 10,
Mm-hmm.
Like, so those like mini games are great still. But yeah, I don't know. Nonsensical story, great art style. But I've had a hard time like really falling in love with a WarioWare game to the extent that I did for the one on the Wii. Like the one on the Wii was just like such a perfect party game.
Yeah.
And, like the use of the Wii remote, like not only was it a great example of like what that console was designed for, it was just a great entry in that series. And yeah, this just doesn't have it,
Did you ever play the Wii U one? I don't think that's WarioWare, but
yeah, I think that is the one game I don't have in my collection yet.
Yeah,
I'm assuming. Well, you have a full set, so you've played it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just a little bit weird. It's not WarioWare minigames. Oh yeah, you do.
I do own it. I guess I've never played it.
Yeah, they're kind of like WarioWare games, but more like drawn out.
Sure. Which I think the fun of the WarioWare games is like the what the fuck just happened aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like even from the Game Boy.
Right. Yeah. It's like the instant, like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do, to holy shit, what was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's been tough for them. Like, I'd argue that the GameCube one, like, kind of reached critical mass on like traditional controls and like what you could do in a WarioWare game. And then the Wii U game was like the Wii game was a different beast, but it was great. And those two have just kind of been the two outstanding ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got that one for my son too, where it's like WarioWare Gold or whatever in the 3DS. Because like I'm pretty sure that was, if not the last official first party release, it was close to it.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So it's like that game is going to be worth like $100 in like 6 years, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say don't buy this. Like I don't know, like the party game aspect. I assume we'll have some fun with it. I just can't recommend it at $50.
Sure.
Unfortunately, it's a first party game, so getting it for less than that new is probably not going to happen anytime soon. But
yeah,
maybe a Black Friday sale.
Yeah. Huh. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I like WarioWare, but I think at this point, at this juncture, I would have preferred a Wario Land.
Yeah. Where has that been? Is Shake It the last one we've gotten on the Wii?
Yeah. I like that one. It was not bad.
I picked that up and because I've heard good things and I've yet to play it. Like I got it really late. Like I think I found it at a thrift store for $5 way after the fact, but I like the art style because that's like 2D hand drawn, right?
Yeah. It's not bad.
Those were good games. It was just like a more methodical, like slower paced Mario, really.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the one on the GameCube? Wario World?
I've tested it here and there, like the first level and stuff, but other than that, not much.
Yeah, me either. I own it. Found it again collecting, and I think that's always one of the, like those are the types of games that I want to save for my son for when like he finds interest in it and like wants to explore that stuff. So I've kind of just like kept it on the back burner, but
yeah,
I've heard it's decent for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Be cool if they, gave Wario more of a leash, but it doesn't seem like they do.
No, it's, we were talking about Kirby earlier, and I feel like they treat Wario in that same regard where it's just like, and actually they treat it a little more sloppily than, it's like the sloppy seconds to Kirby,
Yeah.
It's the afterthought of the afterthought.
At least Kirby, I feel like they have like an idea of something, and then they're just like, let's wrap Kirby on it,
Yeah. Well, and actually, since we're talking about like bastard childs and like the Nintendo House of Software, we might as well touch on the fact that we're 2 days away from a new Metroid.
Yeah.
and I know Metroid's very beloved here, but in the grand scheme of things for Nintendo, Metroid is not a cash cow. But Metroid Dread is dropping this week.
I think that'll be the real test. Like, if this one actually sells really good and critically acclaimed and everything,
yeah,
Metroid might be back or it might be gone forever.
Yeah, I've seen 2 reviews. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. I watched Nintendo Life, which I tend to trust their opinions a little more because I don't know about IGN's review scale anymore. And Nintendo Life gave it a 10 out of 10. So like you combine both of those and put like some Nintendo goggles on it, and realistically, maybe for the average unacquainted person, you're dropping that down to like a 8 to 7 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's come out swinging like that is impressive. So
yeah.
And I've heard some really interesting aspects of like how the gameplay switches, and like you almost teeter on some survival horror elements and tenseness in spots. And I think that sprinkled in with, you know, the already like lonely feel of like what a traditional Metroid game feels like. It sounds pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I was a kid, Metroid was kind of scary, right?
Yeah, like, that ambient soundtrack.
Yeah. Mostly the music, I would say, is probably the thing that scared me. Yeah. So I think that hasn't really grown up to what it could be, you know. But now,
right?
It needs to have that.
Yeah, even the Prime series, like is great. Like, and the Prime series is wildly different from a traditional Metroid, like we're talking about here. But like, even with Echoes, never got quite as dark and like haunting as it could have been. Like, there's still room to grow in that direction, right? Yeah. So, have you pre-ordered this at all, or?
No, I haven't. I'm sure I'll pick it up probably, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's my thought too. Is like I'm gonna buy it probably this week, and like it might not be something I put in for a while, but like I really want to find the 2-pack amiibo too. I don't know that that's gonna be doable, but
yeah,
I say that, but I don't want them, but I want them. So
yeah, my so I played that 3DS one for a little bit, and I really didn't like their parry system.
Sure.
That they had in it. And this seems like it has the exact same thing because it's the same developer.
From what I've heard.
Yeah. So that, along with the free-form gun thing, is cool, but it's a lot to keep track of. And then on top of this seems like, hey, there's something chasing you all the time. So
yeah. I think that was the one disappointment I had was like, I owned a 3DS, so my son just kind of inherited it. But like, I couldn't get myself excited about that console. Like, I really wish there would have been a deluxe edition of this game where they would have at least had a download code for that original game running even an emulation on Switch.
Yeah.
Would have been great. But I mean, I guess I understand why that can't happen, but would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm excited to see how it does because that could be cool.
Yeah. I think at the very least it will be a very solid entry and probably an exceptional entry for fans of the series. So
yeah. And if it bombs Metroid 4, it'll never come out.
Yeah, they didn't even touch on 4, did they?
No.
At least we're getting like a nod to it through, you know, the anniversary, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Dang it, Nintendo.
That's like all they have, pretty much, right? For this year.
Well, and that Zelda Game & Watch comes out in November, but yeah, is there another release? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm
trying to think, but yeah, I don't think there is anything. Unless they surprise us. Which I don't see happening, but
no, they would have done it in this last one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there was something, but I don't think so.
Well, also we forgot to touch on the rumored and now confirmed and out Castlevania Advance Collection, which is badass. I love Circle of the Moon. I kind of fell off. So Game Boy Advance, to put it into perspective, came out when I was a freshman in college. So my girlfriend at the time bought me one. I played it pretty heavily for the first year, maybe 2. And then, I was growing up. Life changed. I didn't play Game Boy much anymore. So Circle of the Moon I played. The other 2 I didn't. But that was a great game. And from what I've understood, the second one is maybe not the greatest, but the third one is perfection of that formula, in my understanding. And
then the DS ones are also pretty great.
Yeah. And then what's weird, though, is I heard they included Dracula X in this Castlevania Advance Collection, which, why include X? Because it's the worst version of Rondo. Why not just include Rondo? You already had it running on PlayStation, so.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
But for $20, because all 3 of those games are now physically, even loose cart, significantly more than that. And those Konami Connect collections pretty regularly drop on the Switch store to half, if not a quarter of their value. So,
oh wow.
I'm waiting. I've bought pretty much every so Castlevania, Contra, and arcade collections. I think I bought all of those for $5.99. So I'm waiting until this. Yeah, and they cycle them down to that price frequently. So I'll probably wait on this one for a little bit until it drops to at least half. But
yeah,
I've heard they did an audio boost too to clean that up, and yeah, I wouldn't mind getting back into some proper. I don't know. There's just something about that era of Castlevania that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I read one article that was basically I love these games and I forgot how slow they are. So he's so I bought this thing, found out how slow it was, still wanted to play it. So he actually just went to the emulator and did the speed up. So
nice.
That's pretty good.
I know there's rewind feature in this one too, which is supposed to be super beneficial, but yeah, I guess I never found I never found Circle of the Moon particularly difficult. It was just grinding, right?
Just difficult to see, right?
That was the problem. The backgrounds and everything was black. Your character was basically black. Yeah, that was rough. And then it was with no backlight. Yeah. That was rough. And then I remember hating that game for not having a save point. You had to get to certain spots and save.
Oh, okay.
So I remember I was on a business trip. I worked for the Forest Service at the time in college. It was I guess a business trip, air quotes. But anyway, I was out on the road for training, and we'd gotten done with training. I was supposed to meet some people for supper or whatever. What time of night? 6 p.m. or whatever after work. And I had to carry my Game Boy Advance with me and walk over to the Applebee's because I couldn't get to a point where I could save and leave it. And I didn't want to run out of battery because I'd put an hour into it and felt like a total asshat. Totally my own problem, but it happened.
Well, it's the tough choices that kids nowadays don't have to make.
Yeah. Or 21-year-olds, but whatever.
Yeah.
I was 20, I guess I would have been 19 probably, but.
Yeah.
Still too old to be walking around with a Game Boy in public at the time.
Well, I think it's pretty much the probably the median age of a Switch owner right now, right?
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't been into a store, but I'm curious what it'll look like in the next week if I walk in and can I find an OLED? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen a traditional Switch in stock in a long time. The lights I see all the time, but I don't know.
I still see the Mario Game & Watch everywhere.
Yeah, that thing's a dumpster fire. Nobody wants that thing. I own 2 of them, but nobody else wants them.
Yeah, those have to go on clearance when the Zelda one comes out.
Right. Yeah.
I imagine.
Hopefully the Zelda one's easy to get then. Hopefully they didn't go hardcore the other direction and they're oh no, we're going to produce 1/10 of these and now they're super valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. It could go that way.
Yeah, for sure. I got a buddy at work who pre-ordered it and keeps rubbing it in my face because I missed the pre-order window. But I was like, realistically, I should be able to walk into a Target like 9 months from now and still find like 10 copies of this. So fingers crossed.
Yep. That's true. Yeah.
Any other exciting news?
Not a single thing.
What Smash Music Quiz? What do you got here?
Oh, we'll do that next week when both of you guys are here.
He could be dead for all we know. We haven't heard from Biff.
Yeah.
Could have gotten the Rona and passed away.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else either. I think there's some exciting Nintendo news. Not a lot going on elsewhere. Well, I guess there was that Sony thing where they bought that company that makes all the ports and like remasters is like in-house now. Forget the name of the company. That's exciting.
Yeah, because they did the Dark Souls thing, right?
Yep.
Or the Demon Souls, and they did the Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes,
remake,
yes, that's the one. Yep.
Which I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's the next one that they do.
I don't know. They were saying that they're going to work on in like original properties now too. So that could be good. We'll see. I don't know.
Which is weird that, Sony, all that Sony does right now is remake things, it seems like, and then they buy somebody who remakes things and they're like, you make new things.
Right.
Meanwhile, Naughty Dog, our best studio, is remaking a game that they just made.
What are they remaking? Last of Us 2?
Well, the original Last of Us, the rumor is that they're remaking it.
It already got remade.
Yeah.
So why are they remaking it?
Like ground up reboot.
What?
Probably because the TV show is coming out. But
oh gosh. Speaking of that, you got into the Squid Game that everybody's talking about?
Splatoon? I haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah, well, that's all I think too. Is everyone's like Squid Game? I was like, we're talking about Splatoon? And it's like, no, the Netflix show. I'm like, okay, I haven't seen that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a battle royale TV show, right? Which draws even more resemblance to Squid Game and like Splatoon. And
yeah, I tried to get my wife to watch it, but she watched the first part of it and she was like, "This, you're trying to get me into anime, and it's not going to work." So,
yeah, I've heard it's all dub, which is like a tough sell for me. Like, I even really loved like Attack on Titan, and once I knew that they were gonna like do dub versions of those without like the subtitles, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna watch. I'm gonna wait for the dub versions and not the subtitles. So
yeah. I'm I don't know. It looks pretty good, right? But
yeah, the trailer looked okay, but I don't want to read a bunch of subtitles, so.
Yeah. That's the thing that you have to pay attention. That's the hardest part.
Well, and you miss some stuff, right? Like, it's always good.
Yeah. I am pretty excited about Cowboy Bebop reboot.
What?
With the live action Cowboy Bebop on Netflix coming in November, I think.
Okay.
It's Harold from Harold and Kumar playing the bad guy. So
okay. This isn't making me want to watch it, but
no. But are you sure? That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm just having flashbacks to like USA's like live action like Eon Flux. That was not a great show either. So
no. I don't know if you can pull off Cowboy Bebop again, because it's just anime with jazz and weird shit like that. So
yeah. Plus, it's one of those weird shows too, where it's like by the time it was like popular, air quotes, in the US, it was already like 10 to 20 years old from Japan. So
and they only made like 20 episodes or something, and it was done.
Yeah, like I feel like that got lumped in like around the same time that like Robotech kind of became cool underground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're so far behind on that stuff. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop's interesting. I never got like super into that one. Robotech more so, and then like of course like the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And then subsequently Z I got into, but
Yeah.
Well, could be good. I mean, I feel like I will give props to Netflix for like they're doing a very good job of like looking for global talent. Like they've really sunk a lot of money into like some of the Scandinavian and like Chinese studios and like other markets that like, you know, outside of Hollywood, they're thinking bigger picture, and then as a result of it, they're getting some really good quality and interesting shows. So
yeah,
I just think they're very ineffective at marketing them, which is kind of their downfall.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be such a bummer because like we know all the classics of like Jurassic Park and Terminator and all those that are just forever movies, you know, and all these Netflix movies that come out can be a big thing. They could be just as good, and then they're just pushed down the algorithm because nobody watches them after the first month.
Yeah.
And then like, who's going to remember that? Who's going to have fondness for that 10 years from now? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. And there's no physical follow up. I guess we can touch on it. 'Cause like this impacted me quite a bit. Like I was pretty bummed. Like Norm Macdonald passed, you know, and like growing up, like that was right in my age demographic. Like Norm Macdonald was like, you know, Weekend Update on SNL, and like he had the Norm Show and Dirty Work, like all this stuff when I was like middle to high school era, like one of my favorite comedians. And, you know, he passed away, and like I've been going down the rabbit hole watching a lot of his old clips. And then I remembered like, oh yeah, he voiced Pigeon on like Mike Tyson Mysteries. Like,
yeah, that
show is hilarious. Like, let me buy the box sets of that. I can't. Like, they're gone. Like, you cannot get a complete DVD or Blu-ray set of that. I mean, I can go on Amazon and like some of these scalping sites and like get a couple of the seasons at like ridiculous prices, but like how much does that suck that like something that came out in the last 8 years is just basically gone or trapped behind this paywall of like me having a subscription to like
it's on HBO. Yeah,
adult. Is it on HBO?
I think so.
Yeah. Man, okay, yeah. It's just like I'm having that realization that it's just like if it didn't come out before 2008, like there's a good chance it's
just gone. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing though, watching a lot of Norm Macdonald stuff. And
yeah.
Did you know he is the voice of like a goblin on the Skylanders cartoon?
No.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I've been watching those clips of like that weirdly like accurate like rendition of like the Pokemon episode of the Norm Show, where it's like somebody really did a lot of research to understand how Pokemon worked and like the names of the Pokemon. Yeah. Like that's impressive for like, I don't know what year that came out, like 2099. So good.
It's funny how all those shows like touched on that too, you know, because I remember like an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond about Pokemon cards too at some point.
Yeah. Norm was like such a great lead in, because I think it was the lead into Drew Carey for 3 years. Yeah. And then it got canned and like, man. Yeah, that guy is so hilarious. Like still my favorite clip of all. Well, there's a couple of clips. Like I love that one on like the Carrot Top movie on Conan, but my favorite thing he ever did was like that walk-on appearance to the final episode of Conan when he was hosting the Tonight Show, and he brings that fruit basket and he's like, "Oh, you're congratulating me on my last episode." He's like, "No, that's not what that is. I procrastinate. I actually bought you this as a congratulations basket." Like that whole letter about like, if I know one thing about my friend Conan O'Brien, you will not accept miserable failure as an option. Just like rips the guy apart on his final like tragic episode. God, that guy, his sense of humor is amazing.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous too. Like 9 years he was battling that cancer. Nobody ever knew. Like it never got out. You know, he was still making appearances into 2017, early 2018. You know, so
yeah. I mean, he was doing that. He did a podcast for a while, and he even turned that into a Netflix show.
Yeah, that's right. The Netflix show. Yes. The Netflix show was not as funny as like his web podcast series thing, because like you could tell they reined him in a lot.
Yeah. Well, there's a few episodes where he is like absolutely like just like making fun of the sponsors that he has.
Yes.
And just like loses them immediately because it's like, this is dumb.
Yep. And that when he had the network or like the internet show, and he had like Larry King on, he was just like having him read like horribly racist and like 9/11 jokes and stuff. It's like you got a 90-year-old man here reading, and you're tricking him into reading like the most filthy and like obtuse humor. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a legend. Like he was a legend even before this, but like it's so sad. Like 61 years old is, yep. Nothing, especially for a guy with means, right? Like he should have had resources to get to the best doctors and, to keep a positive attitude and keep doing what you did for 9 years, knowing that, like, that's pretty commendable.
And we miss out on cranky old Norm.
Yeah, God,
that could have been
think
good.
If he'd have gotten like slightly senile and really gave no fucks, like the stuff that would have come out of him. It's kind of amazing because like if anybody should have been like destroyed by cancel culture, it should have been Norm Macdonald, and he somehow just like he had that tone, like he just pulled it off. Like he said all the shit that should have ended his career a million times, and yet like that his delivery and that charm and like just walked right through it. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, half his jokes are about the gays, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, you can't say that stuff anymore.
Right.
I used to love that too on like the Conan stuff where like his running bit always became like Andy's a homosexual.
Yeah.
He just like make gay jokes about Andy the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
The German or the whatever.
Swedish Jew, German or whatever. Yeah. It's good stuff. Yeah. R.I.P. Norm, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I immediately went back like that night that the news broke and like watched Dirty Work. I was like, this is a great movie.
Yep.
Real good. And then that audio clip too, of him and Will Ferrell, like the two first gay men in history or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
CD. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this crazy idea. What if we take our clothes off and have, really? Where are the women? No women. Oh, okay. My asshole is on fire. Yeah. It's good stuff.
That's funny. That guy, it really is nuts that, what he went through and all that stuff. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and it's sad too, because like, I think his kids were pretty young still. I don't think they're out of the house. So, I mean, 6 years old, why would they be? But yeah, it's.
I think he was an actual gamer though, because he was like talking about how like some Fire Emblem Heroes stuff that he was playing.
Oh, really?
On Twitter one time. Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I guess if you're a gambler, gaming isn't that much of a leap.
That's true. Yeah. Especially Fire Emblem Heroes. It's pretty much gambling.
Yeah, it's all risk reward for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, save the quiz for next time. I suppose we can call it an episode.
Yeah.
And you get the default pleasure of taking us out.
All right. So, if you liked what you heard, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and send us some emails at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us your favorite Norm joke. We'd love to watch the video on that as well. But that's going to do it for today. So be kind, rewind.
I bet they spell it BORED.
Oh, it's bananas.